Hi there, Cancer. Welcome to your end of November 2025 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. I have to explain something here. I had an issue with my power, and some rooms have power and some don't, and I have a blanket, and I was going to just postpone I only have a couple more readings to do. And then I remembered the old school method of doing it in bed. I used to watch someone years ago, probably before I even started doing this. And it was strangely relaxing, and she would do it in her bed there was more than one person who did that. So this is a blanket, obviously, but since I want to get this reading out in a timely manner, please forgive the the old school method here, and I'll just do it anyway. The show must go on, right? And this is like a very basic blanket too. I have some prettier blankets, but it's white, so it shows up better. Okay. So this is for the rest of November, and the heart of the matter is the King of Pentacles. This is a card of someone who is a what would you say, has money mastery. This can be you if you have made a lot of money. It might be a mentor. It could be a boss. Kings can be authority figures like bosses, even fathers. I mean, if you're getting money from your father or that side of the family, this can be like what your desires are, that there's something going on. As a matter of fact, it might be something along those lines, like the money, the issue of money really coming up, because in the past position, we have the Two of Wands, and this is a card that is connected to someone who might be choosing two different types of careers, between two types of careers. And so maybe money is kind of the concern. Like, if with the wands, we're talking about fire energy, so it's really about what lights you up, what makes you feel passionate. And yet sometimes that kind of thing may not be as lucrative as something else. And so that's why a person is kind of like, well, especially if you're in kind of, I was going to say like a midlife, I wouldn't say crisis, but like in this, like twos can be that you're at a crossroads or something, like, and it's like, okay, I have to choose which direction I'm going to go in. And this can be about career matters. And the person is holding the globe in their hand, which indicates, could be like world travel, like the person wants to go far away, but they're not quite sure if, maybe there's something else that is keeping them there where they are, and that makes it a dilemma, because sometimes there might be certain types of work that you can't do locally, that you have to travel for, or if it's within a company and maybe getting a transfer. So you might be, it might be passion for something versus, and even like freedom, that can be one's, or just like the money and the ability to make a lot of money. And also, if this is a relationship related thing, maybe you're with someone who is an earth sign, which is compatible with water. I mean, on paper, not necessarily in real life. but maybe you've met someone who is like a fire sign. Usually, like Aries is a sign that Cancer may find themselves attracted to in particular, but Leo is a sign right next to you. And so that can happen too. The other fire sign is Sagittarius. The higher message is the Justice card, which means balance. It's interesting in this deck, which is called, I believe it's called Flower Child Tarot. They have the sun and moon as the things being on the scale. And what I take from that is the balance between, well, you could say the dark and the light, but I mean the shadow and the light. But you can also say between the emotions and ambitions. And, or the, the moon in astrology represents what makes us feel safe. And the sun represents our aspirations or our goals. So being able to balance those two things is very important. And definitely, for Cancer, money is something that you can't shrug off because you're ruled by the moon, so you do tend to be security minded. But this is a card connected to Libra and to the actual justice system. So there might be some kind of an issue around what do you call it? Like if you're getting divorced, for instance, or divorce situation and money connected to it. What crosses you is the Nine of Wands. This is a card of boundaries, but also wariness, kind of not weariness, not being tired, but wariness, being cautious about someone perhaps trying to come back, trying to, worm their way back into your life. I do, when I see kings, sometimes I do think of narcissists because of that. And we got another king too. The position that they hold, where it could be that they're abusing power sometimes. And so there might be something here, and especially if the person is using money as a way to control. And it's never very pleasant when that happens, but sometimes it happens because that person simply doesn't feel powerful inside of themselves, so they try to control people with money. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall prey to that because they do want money. So they're willing to do whatever it takes. I do feel that with this, like if this has anything to do with your career aspirations, like for instance, with the energy coming in, it's just more confusion. Seven of Cups can be, you have a lot of choices, but you're not quite sure which is the right one to take. You can see the snake there. Whatever that creature, the horned creature is. Sometimes something looks nice and it might not be what it seems. So it's below the Two of Wands. So if you are looking for work or you're trying to switch professions, you have to apply discernment. I believe this card is connected to Neptune, and it can indicate a lot of confusion, muddled thinking. And, Jupiter is in your sign, but it has gone retrograde. So it is asking you to go within more than blessing you in an outer way right now and expanding your outer choices. It's kind of asking you to look at what your values are in life, your ethical construct, your philosophical construct, because you might be making a choice for the wrong reasons. Maybe it was something that would have been the right reason 10 years ago, and now it's no longer the case. And you may find it hard to really admit that to yourself because you want things to be a certain way. But, like, let's say with the King of Pentacles that you're leaving a marriage or committed partnership with someone that maybe had a lot of money, and you feel like you're going to be in a lower economic level now that you're not with that person, or you're afraid of it because you have that choice to make. When there's a 2 in the readings, like the 2 of Wands, it could mean that you have a choice to make. The bottom line is that, when we talk about the Justice card, it's like weighing your options. And sometimes people forget that they're suffering, that they're not really happy, and how much is it worth to you to be happy is sometimes the bottom line. The outcome is the King of Wands. I really like this as an outcome card. This is stepping into your power. This can be that you are going to embrace sovereignty, individuality, versus going along with the program, going along with what someone else would like from you instead of what you feel called to do at this point in life. So, yeah, that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, be it astrology, the tarot, or both, please click on the link below for more information. Thanks for watching. Bye.